Many women wants to become a wife. Do you really? Because there is sacrifice, and understand that when you get married, it is a covenant. Marriage is a ministry. It is a ministry between you, your husband, and God. And also understand that the husband is the head of the wife, and you are to be submitted to your husband, as well as your husband is to be submitted to you. So, do you really, or are you really ready for the sacrifice that it's going to take to be married? And do you see yourself being married until death do you part? Because a lot of times people get married for different reasons. So you also have to make sure that you are entering into this covenant not lightly, right? And you have to really think about, okay, where do you see your marriage going? Like, you're going to have a strategy, a marriage plan is what I call it, a marriage blueprint in your marriage. And then understand too is you cannot bring things from your old relationship into your new relationship. And are you really at a place where as though you are healed from the things that you have been through? Because you definitely don't want to destroy that man, as well as that man should not want to destroy you. And you're going to have to compromise. You're going to have to compromise, ladies. You're going to have to compromise, men. So are you really ready for that? And not, something to just think of at the moment. Yeah, I'm ready. But are you really? Because there's a lot of things that come into play. Number one, two families emerges. His family and your family emerge together. And then understand that you two become one. Okay? So you are supposed to be the missing piece in this marriage with him. The same thing as you become his missing piece. Can you become his piece? And also to him respecting you. So you have to really think about this, right? Um, if this is the step that you want to take. Marriage is hard, right? Marriage is hard, woman. Marriage is hard, man. Marriage is just not something that, like, when you sit up there and you having these relationships and when you get mad and everything, you think you can go ahead and leave. No, marriage is to death do you part. So, are you really ready for this? That is, it's just as well as the same thing. Well, I can say it's not the same thing, but similar to you sitting up there and you buying a home. If you ain't buying a house straight out, right, you're paying on a home for like 15, 30 years. And, you know, a lot of times when you get into relationships, we get into a relationship of a potential, not the full person, because over time people change. They change for the good or they change for the bad. So you have to make sure that if this is something that you want, you have to prepare yourself, number one, mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. Okay? All right? Okay? And you have to really have those serious talks. I'm not talking about, when y'all are still in the honeymoon season, because the honeymoon season is fun. The honeymoon season is good, right? There ain't no arguing. Y'all trying not to step on each other toes. Y'all trying to make everybody making each other happy. But after the honeymoon season, okay, this is where, your marriage end up getting tested. Your marriage get tested by those that may, from your past, that may try to come in and may still feel as though, you know what, I let that good woman go, or I let that good man go and I want them back. And then also too, like, You know, if that man has kids, if he has children, right? And if you have children, y'all gotta understand, like, for a blended family, it is hard blending a family. So, you know, you have to include your kids in it. Y'all have to sit up there and like go through that time too, or if that person is good for kids. Then too is how you have to sit up there and look at the financial aspect, right? You know, when y'all want to sit up there, y'all want to buy a home, y'all want to buy cars, you know. If each of y'all have good credit, um, you know, savings and stuff like that, and how's your spending habits. Then also too, you got to think about, if is he one that can't, that don't have, you know, self control, or is he one that always spending money or always wasting money? And then also too, you got to think about addictions. Like, is he addicted to drugs? Is he addicted to alcohol and all of those different things? And then too, you got to think about health, right? Do he have pre-existing health conditions? Do you have pre-existing health conditions? And understand, it's so much that come into getting married, and you have to make sure, like, does this person have an attitude problem? Is they anger out of control? Is they a narcissist? Are they controlling? Like, literally, you need to know all of this. How is they with their parents? Like, do they respect their mother and father? Like, you know, those different things, right? So it's a lot to be married, and you have to make sure that, number one, it is a God marriage, okay? Because you cannot be married without having the third strand there, and that is God in your marriage, because you're going to need it, okay? And prayer, and scriptures, and fasting for your marriage. So, are you really ready to be married? And, you know, you can start and prepare now the things and the steps that you need to do to become that wife, or for the men to become that husband, right? So that way you can have a successful marriage and longevity, right? And then also too, you must be forsaken all others when you are married. Yeah, no stepping out, no cheating, no sleeping with the baby mama, no sleeping with the baby daddy, or any of that. And then too, you must keep people out of your marriage. Okay? You must keep people out of your marriage. That's only God's supposed to be in your marriage. Period. Okay? And then too is, you know, you women, you gotta make sure you watch them females, friends that you have, or even family members, okay? And the same thing to you with men. You gotta make sure your homeboys ain't around your wife, okay? And to the male figures in your family, okay? So, you know, it's a lot of things to consider, a lot of things to think about, a lot of things to prepare. Because, you know, we even have the divorce rate is so high, as well as those being single. So, if you can't control yourself, don't get married, okay? Period. Work on yourself, work on those areas, is what I'm saying. All right.